Good evening and welcome to another episode of a Migrant's Journey. This is episode number 41. We have had 40 amazing stories so far. Thank you for all your support. And if you're watching this live, thanks for watching this live again. Please say hi, hello, good evening. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to leave a comment so that, and the main reason I ask that is the more noise you make, the more social media platforms share my content. More people see it, more people it helps, and the happier it makes me. That's the reason. If you're watching this for the first time, a migrant's journey was set up to share real life migrant stories over here. When we think about migration, it's usually about a dream coming true. We think, hey, we'll migrate and everything will just work out like that. But often that's not the case, especially with the job search scene. It's really hard for migrants, and there are various factors to it. It could be, difference in expectations, cultures, difference in the way you job search, and tons of reasons for that. So I've had 40 stories so far, 40 different people, 40 interviews. That's 20 hours worth of content. Go ahead, head to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel, and you can binge on that. Today, I have a special guest with me. This is another success story coming from the pandemic situation. So this is an international graduate student who completed her graduation in accountant as an accountant and got a job within 3-4 months in the pandemic situation, and she has moved to regional Victoria as well. So there are a lot of tips to come from her. Now let's go straight to her. Archita, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you, Vinesh. I'm really well. How are you?
I'm good, good. It's a bit warm in Melbourne today. I'm glad that the summer is coming back. So that's a good
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
compared to whatever is happening around. But yeah,
yeah.
that's that. Now let's get straight into things, Archita. Who are you and what you do?
So I'm Archita and I came to Melbourne in 2018. I did my graduation in Masters of Professional Accounting from RMIT University, graduated in July 2020, started my job search, like with all my focus in July 2020, and I got my job. I think in September, first week I
Mhm.
got to know about it, and I started here on 14th of September. Yeah.
And that's nice. So um, we'll come to that journey a bit later.
Hmm.
For a start, let's go all the way back before you migrated. Once you came to know that, hey, I am moving to Australia.
Yeah.
What sort of preparation do you do as an international student? Most students tell me, I didn't prepare anything. We just came down and learned
Right.
along the way. But what sort of preparation did you do?
Right. So it was the end of my bachelor's degree, and I was pursuing chartered accountancy back in India. And I was interning under a chartered accountant. And, I was just getting, to a point. It was my saturation point where it sort of felt that I did not have a work life balance. And I was studying in the morning and working all day long from 9 to 9 p.m. And some days I did not have a return, like when's my day going to end. So that's when I decided that I'll come or move abroad. And to be honest, I did not really, do it strategically. My father was pretty keen on coming to Australia for me. He met a lot of migration agents, and everyone pretty much suggested that Australia is a good place for studies. And my focus was on studies because, as I was doing chartered accountancy already, I was pretty deep into accounting industry. And Other than that, I think I was pretty naive and very new. This was the first time I was traveling abroad on my own, living on my own. So I'd say I was pretty naive and I did not really strategize anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just jumped into the decision as yeah, somebody who wanted to explore.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. So now let's dissect on how that went for you. How was the first few weeks or months
Whew.
like for you? I mean,
Hmm.
it's a huge culture change. It's a huge transport system change, figuring out how the Mikey works. So tons of things. How are the first few weeks or months like?
My first week was pretty terrifying. I did not even get out of my house for a week because I didn't know anything. I didn't know where's supermarket. I didn't know what's Woolworths and Coles. Let's start there.
Yeah.
And I was pretty scared to get on a tram because I would just be terrified of getting lost. But
Yep.
eventually, slowly and steadily, when I was forced into those situations when I had to travel to uni, I started learning a bit more. Um, in terms of academics, I was pretty fine because I think the basics are the same, but what we learn here as an immigrant is the difference between the education system. So
Mhm.
that was the part where I really adjusted. But in terms of basic academic was fine.
Yeah.
And the education systems really, I mean, drastically different in terms of assignments and things like that. So yeah, first semester was hard. It got better with my second and third and fourth semester.
Yeah. So for international students who are or aspiring international students, how is the education system so different?
If I compare Indian education to Australian education, Indian education is very, very theoretical, and Australian education is quite practical in terms of the assignments that you do. You go to different organization, and I've actually done management accounting reports on organizations. I've talked to third parties other than just my professors and other students. Um, then there's referencing. We never had a concept called referencing back in India, so that's pretty new. That was pretty new to me, and
Mhm.
people should take it seriously. you know
Mhm.
and there's heaps and heaps of help that your university provides. They understand that we are fairly new. We might be fairly new to such things, and I got a lot of support in my first semester. um, and you get various opportunities on campus. That's what I felt, that where I studied, I did not get on campus opportunities as much as I did here in Australia.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think being used to the fact that the education system is very different is the first step for an international student. Otherwise, if you expect things to work the same way as in your home country, that can be a real struggle. Now,
Mhm.
let's get to the job search side of things.
Hmm.
At what point did you get into the job search process? I'm sure it has evolved over time, but
Hmm.
how did you start job searching, and at what point did you start looking out for a job?
Now that I look back, I think I started laying the foundations right from my first semester.
Mm.
All those casual jobs,
Yep.
all those internships, all that networking, tiny bits, here and there, really build me up to the point where I actually got in really like properly focused in my job search after July.
Mhm.
So that's also one of my recommendations to everyone, all the international students, that don't think of any job as small, because
Mhm.
every job will be a stepping stone to another or to the next opportunity.
Yeah.
So, by my last semester, I was aware of the fact that I'll have to eventually start my job search. And for that, I need to have some sort of accounting experience, local accounting experience. And I started looking for my internships. And all my opportunities came through Uni's career site, whether it
Mhm.
was casual job or my internships.
Mhm.
So my internship, I got to know about Monash IVF internship through Career Hub. I
Mhm.
applied there, interned there for a while, for 3 months. I interned at a CPA firm for 3 months over the summer vacation. And then in my last semester, by the end of it, I started applying, but wasn't really serious.
Yeah,
I only got serious when my last assignment ended in June, 9th of June, and I started applying for jobs. So that's when it started, really.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I think laying that foundations was very important. By the way,
Yes.
before we get back into the conversation, there are about 15 viewers live on LinkedIn, but I'm
Hmm.
not seeing any activity in the comment section. So please say hi, hello, or if you have any questions for us, please do post it there. Like I said, the more you comment, the more people gets to watch this. So please do that. Now, coming to your point, Archita, you mentioned one thing. From the first semester you started your casual jobs, your internships, and your networking kind of helped you set
Mm.
the foundation. Now,
Mm.
networking is not a very common concept if you're coming from a different country. So, what sort of networking, or for someone who is new, how would you define networking, and how did you do that, and what was your journey like in the space of networking?
I think networking can take a lot of different shapes. So I think you network at every job or every volunteering work that you do. So
Mhm.
I was heavily involved in my university, and I met a lot of people there through events. I used to present to incoming students and to authorities in university. That's where I started to know more and more people, and one job led to another through one of the references in the university. So that's the starting point of networking. And
Mhm.
then networking in terms of your technical abilities and your industry, for me it was CPA events, and any events that our professors would organize, talking to teachers. I think that's the best point of for anyone to start networking.
Yeah.
um, and then I would go to events, I would come to your online catch ups,
Mhm.
I would talk to people on LinkedIn. I wasn't really a people person initially in
Yeah.
2018, but I can proudly say that I'm a people person now.
Awesome.
I can talk to anybody. I talk to people on LinkedIn
Yeah.
now, taking the advantage of the situation that I don't have to physically go to a coffee shop. It's very pleasing to me, and this way I save time and I meet more people.
Yeah, brilliant. So, one question that I'd like to ask. This is a question, or this is a rather observation that a lot of students shared to me when I was interacting with international students.
Yeah.
They say that to get a job, you have to be involved in associations or whatever activities that happen in the college. But um, it's not exactly that way, but that's the impression that some people have. So you also mentioned that you were very involved in the events and the associations that were in the college. So
Mm.
what do you have to say about that?
I wasn't involved in an accounting association in my university, but
Hmm.
I was working in events, those orientation events. I would deliver presentation, and it's not necessary that you have to do it that way. You have to go through your industry events to make networks. You
Hmm.
never know what, if you're meeting a random person in an event, that person led me to another person who was maybe working in the accounting industry.
Yeah.
So it is advisable that you start, going to events that are in your industry relevant, but
Mhm.
it's not the end of the day. If
Yeah.
you're not comfortable, it's one step at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to take it slow, and it's a slow process too, right? If you
Yeah.
think you go for one event and things will work out, no, that's not the way.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into how things worked out in the end. That's the exciting part, and that's what probably most viewers are looking for. How did you manage to get a job as an international student during the pandemic situation in regional Victoria? So, kind of three exciting parts to it. What's
Mhm.
your story?
um so when I initially started applying, my cover letter and my resume wasn't really polished.
Hmm.
It had everything that I had done for past 2 years,
Yeah.
all my casual work. It was To be precise, it wasn't really focused to what I was aiming for. I wasn't even clear what kind of jobs I should apply, because in accounting industry you could aim for plenty of things. You can aim for accounts payable, you can aim for accounts receivable, you can aim from, financial controller, graduate accountant. There's heaps of descriptions.
Hmm.
But I wasn't really sure on what to apply for, especially at the entry level. So I just kept on talking to people, especially my seniors who've gone through the process. So I just kept on talking to them and, picking up really good advices, whatever resonated with me. And I just reformed my cover letter and CV and changed 360-degree by the end, by 1.5 month into the job
Hmm.
search. So that's one, having a good CV and a cover letter does help.
Yeah.
Either you have a good CV or a cover letter, or you are really good at networking.
Yeah.
You should have, I think you should have one of these to it,
Yeah.
at least. And then it wasn't just very I was talking to a lot of people, not just in my industry but also from other industries, because
Hmm.
everyone had some advice that I would pick up, especially for my presence on LinkedIn, and the way to approach people. I
Hmm.
picked up really good advices from people. I've had a chat with you also once, when I was really nervous and I didn't know if I should go ahead and write my thoughts.
Hmm.
But that really did turn out well. That's two. And then just keeping myself relevant to my industry. I would read up a lot of articles and a lot of podcasts on CPA's website, on CANZ's website. And through them, I also got to know about more opportunities.
Hmm.
So that's like the foundation of what I did throughout the journey. Um, Initially in the journey, I had a lot of rejections, but I took it up as, if I'm getting a rejection, that's one step closer.
Yeah.
I tried to give myself that
Yeah.
reason that it's one step closer. And then, after a few days, I would, have an interview. I had, I think, 3 interviews in total. And every time it just felt that, I'll get this. I
Yeah.
used to get really excited.
Yeah.
And then there was sudden turn off that, oh, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And there was this one specific incident that I really, really wanted that job, because it
Hmm.
was in my preferred industry. It was in cosmetic industry. And this company was in e-commerce, and it was booming, in pandemic. E-commerce industries are booming. I really wanted it, but it didn't turn out, and I was pretty upset. And then the next morning of that rejection, I got a call for an interview at this place. They just looked at my CV and cover letter. They liked it. Had an interview. It was nice. It was like a conversation, but I was prepared. They asked me a lot of things, especially I think one has to be prepared for a question if they're applying in a regional area. How are they going to adjust,
Yeah.
coming from a city? So one should be prepared about this specific question. The interview went really well, and within weeks things changed. For past 2 months there was full redundancy.
Yeah.
I was disappointed, and within weeks, 1 week, everything changed, and I was here. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like everything just fell into place when the time came. So
Yes.
uh, again, it all it's like all your work kind of peaked or resulted into this. The
Yeah.
foundation you laid, the persistence you have, and the work you did kind of
Yeah.
resulted into this. So that's all
Yeah.
you can do. You have to keep putting effort into it. You
Yeah.
have to keep focusing, and that's what. Yeah. So congrats. Now you're working in regional Victoria, and I'm
Thank
really
you.
happy that things worked out for you. Just to give a
I would
sneak, yeah, go for it.
Sorry, I would
Nah,
also like to add that um, people choose one extreme, that networking is everything, or just having a good resume and cover letter is everything.
hmm.
No, you should have both.
Yeah,
You should not put your eggs in one basket.
yeah,
You should keep working on both these things, and you never know what clicks ultimately. So
absolutely.
I applied my job through Seek, and
Hmm.
a lot of people have a perception that people like employers do not really, look at the applications from Seek or
Yeah.
Indeed. People have these notions. I think you should go beyond these notions and apply.
Yeah.
Do like I used to apply on Seek. I used to apply on their website. I would message 5 people on LinkedIn. So I did everything I could.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very important. I mean, the word that you said, don't put all your eggs in your basket. That's the key here. A common mistake that people do is they just apply online, and that's where things go really wrong because
Mm.
it may work, like you said, it worked for you, but
Yeah.
what if it doesn't work? How are you
Yeah.
going to take care of things? And that's very
Yeah.
important. Now, a sneak peek, as in you mentioned that you're in regional Victoria, and it's completely different. How
Yeah.
was your first few weeks like? I mean, what's new or what's different in regional Victoria?
Uh, okay. So in terms of work, I
Mm,
think it's the same.
yeah,
The standards are the same. People really put in their hard work. In terms of lifestyle, people are extremely nice. That's what I have felt. People were, I've experienced like good conversations in Melbourne too, but here if I pass by and you just have people stop by and have a conversation even if you don't know them.
mm,
So that's one. People are extremely helpful. The houses are pretty big. I was living in CBD. So
uh,
for me, having my own bedroom with like an open garden, open backyard was pretty new,
okay,
pretty different. I was very excited about that. Um, Other than that, I think you won't really have social life, equivalent social life as
yeah,
compared to what we have in Melbourne, you
mm,
know. So that's the only difference, I think. And you won't have Uber or Uber Eats if you're finding convenience. No, you need to have a car here.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. That's something very different compared to what
yeah,
we do here
yeah,
in
yeah,
the city. So thanks for sharing your story. I have a couple of questions, and one is very relevant to one of the posts that actually you did. So I'll bring that up. So
yeah.
Suyasha, sorry if I mispronounced that. Suyasha says, do you think it's worth taking unpaid internship given the market? Do unpaid work actually count as experience while applying for a job? So I know that you had made a post on this, and it had a lot of reviews and comments on that. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think unpaid internships are worth it, but you have to analyze when it's worth it and when it's not. Uh, if somebody is really investing you in your learning, that's where you should stay. But if you feel that you're going to the internship and you're just doing basic things and you're not learning everything on a daily basis, then it's not worth it. Sometimes unpaid internships can lead into exploitation, but that's when you have to take a call. As a student, as somebody who wants uh, a relevant experience in the industry, we sometimes bow down to the situation that at least somebody is giving me an internship, maybe I should just keep on going, and maybe you can call it suffering.
Yeah,
But you have to really analyze. You don't want to waste time.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I've had a really good experience in one of my internships. So
Mhm.
you just have to like analyze where to go ahead with it, and there's nothing wrong with doing unpaid
Yeah.
internships.
So I think the key is, are you learning?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of it, and
Yeah.
evaluate based on that. If you're
Yeah.
learning, yes, it's an absolutely great thing. I mean, especially during the pandemic situation right now, if you get an unpaid internship, it will definitely add a lot of
Yes.
value to you. So please go ahead and do it. I have another question. This is a bit subjective, and probably an advice, or you can give your perspective on what it is. So do you think it's worth to move forward with online learning, or is it better to wait out till face-to-face
Ooh.
learning starts? So this is for even for international students who are looking to migrate probably next year. I get a lot of questions. What is going to happen? So what is your thoughts on this?
First, it depends on personal circumstances. So that's one. Number two, I would think about it from my own perspective, and I would say that if it was me, I think I would personally choose face to face, because I want to experience the lifestyle and the culture, because that's where you actually learn, interacting with people and going to workplace, or that's the real experience. Personally, I would not do an online learning, and it's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
Not everyone can get used to online learning, and it's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah. And it's very distracting. I mean, you have at least two to three tabs open, and it's easy to, open up another tab and scroll on something or watch something
Yeah,
else, and it's very distracting for me.
but again,
Uh,
it's my own personal
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah. I understand that. So, thank you so much for your time today, Archita. It was wonderful listening to your story. Is there anything that we missed to address, or is there anything that you'd like to add to the conversation today?
I think I would just say keep going. It's
Yeah,
it's it's hard. It's times can get very disheartening, but just keep going, and you never know what clicks until it happens. Until yeah, it doesn't happen. You just keep going at it.
yeah.
That's all.
You don't get any sign that it is going to happen. It'll just happen when it
Just
happens.
happen. Yes.
That's what Archita wanted to say. And absolutely, thank you so much for sharing your story. And if you're watching this episode, please head on to her LinkedIn profile. I remember at least 3 to 4 really good posts that she made, especially which is very relevant to international students and graduates, especially. So please take a look, and please take a look at the conversations in those posts as well. I think that is where the real gold is. So that's very important. So thank you so much for your time, Archita. Thanks to all our viewers. If you have any other questions, please leave a comment on YouTube or LinkedIn, and we'll get back to you. If anyone would like to connect, we also have a question from Avnika. Which regional city are you based in now?
It's Victoria's in New South Wales border. It's called Cobram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's hope that answers your question, Avnika. All right. So thank you so much. If people would like to get in touch with you, Archita, what's the best way to do it? LinkedIn?
Yeah, they can message me on LinkedIn. That'd
Hmm.
be best.
All right. All right, so that's that for today. I'll come back with more episodes. I think I have one more lined up for the next week, but otherwise, this was a really good story. It teaches you, or it tells you out loud that even if you're an international student or a migrant or any sort of job seeker, keep doing the things that you can, and things will unfold one day. If you don't do it, when the day of unfolding comes, it may not happen. Right? I'll put it that way. I'll put
That's
it
true.
that way. So keep putting in your efforts. I know it's hard, I know it's tough, so have a balance between your personal life, your personal development, your mental well-being, and then keep pushing, and things will eventually happen. Thank you so much, Archita, for your time today.
Thanks,
And
Vinesh, for having
no,
me.
no worries at all. So I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.
Bye.